In the heart of the city, nestled between towering skyscrapers and bustling streets, there was a small, unassuming building. It was easy to overlook, but those who knew its secret were drawn to it like moths to a flame. Inside this building, hidden behind a plain wooden door, was the room. The room was unlike any other. It had no windows, and its walls were painted a deep, calming shade of blue. The only furniture was a single, comfortable armchair in the center, facing an antique wooden desk. On the desk sat a solitary book, its cover worn and pages yellowed with age. Many had entered the room, but few spoke of what they found there. The rumor was that the book held stories of the past, present, and future. Each person who opened the book found a different tale, one that seemed to speak directly to their soul. One rainy afternoon, a young woman named Emily stumbled upon the building. She had been wandering the city, lost in thought and drenched from the downpour. Seeking shelter, she pushed open the wooden door and stepped inside. The warmth and stillness of the room enveloped her, offering a welcome respite from the storm. Curious, Emily approached the desk and sat in the armchair. She hesitated for a moment before picking up the book. As she opened it, the musty scent of old paper filled the air, and she began to read. The story that unfolded before her eyes was one of love and loss, of dreams chased and hearts broken. It mirrored her own life in uncanny detail, recounting the highs and lows she had experienced over the past year. Tears welled up in her eyes as she read, each word resonating deeply within her. Hours passed, but Emily hardly noticed. She was utterly absorbed in the tale, finding solace in its pages. When she finally reached the end, she felt a sense of closure she hadn't realized she needed. The last sentence seemed to speak directly to her heart, and in the end, she found the strength to let go and begin anew. Emily closed the book and placed it back on the desk. She rose from the armchair, feeling lighter than she had in months. As she left the room, she carried with her a renewed sense of hope and a determination to move forward. Outside, the rain had stopped and the sun peeked through the clouds, casting a golden glow over the city. Emily took a deep breath and stepped into the light, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. And so, the room remained, a haven for those who sought its wisdom, offering each visitor a story that touched their soul and guided them on their journey. As Emily walked away from the building, the mysterious allure of the room lingered in her mind. She couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to discover. Intrigued, she decided to return the next day. When she arrived, she found the door slightly ajar, inviting her back in. This time, she noticed an inscription above the doorway that she hadn't seen before. For those who seek, the story unfolds. She stepped inside, and everything seemed as it was the day before. The same calming blue walls, the same comfortable armchair, and the same antique desk with the old book resting on it. But today, there was something different. Next to the book lay a small brass key. Emily picked up the key, feeling its weight in her hand. Her curiosity piqued. She opened the book again, hoping to find more answers. To her surprise, the book now contained a map. It detailed a journey through the city, marking several locations with small X's. At the end of the map was a symbol matching the brass key she held. Driven by a newfound sense of purpose, Emily set off to follow the map. The first location led her to a quaint little cafe she had never noticed before. Inside, she found a note addressed to her, tucked under a teacup. It read, "Sometimes, the smallest encounters can change the course of our lives. Enjoy a cup of tea and listen to the stories around you." She sat down, ordered a cup of tea, and listened to the conversations around her. She heard tales of love, hope, and resilience, each one adding a new layer to her understanding of the world. She felt a sense of connection to the strangers around her, as if their stories were now a part of her own. The next location on the map led her to a park, where she found a bench with another note taped to it. This one read, "In nature, we find peace and clarity. Take a moment to breathe and reflect." Emily sat on the bench and closed her eyes, letting the sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves wash over her. She felt a deep sense of tranquility, as if the park itself was whispering secrets to her. As she continued to follow the map, each location revealed a new lesson, a new piece of wisdom. One spot led her to a library, where she found a book that seemed to speak directly to her soul. Another took her to a street musician, whose music moved her to tears. Each experience was unique and deeply personal, guiding her on a journey of self-discovery. Finally, the map led her to an old, ivy-covered building on the outskirts of the city. She used the brass key to unlock the door and stepped inside. The interior was dark and musty, but as her eyes adjusted, she saw a small, cozy room lit by a single candle. On a table in the center of the room lay a letter addressed to her. With trembling hands, Emily opened the letter. It read, "Dear Seeker, your journey has only just begun. The room is a guide, but the story is yours to write. Embrace the unknown, cherish the moments, and trust in your path. Remember, the most beautiful stories are those that are lived. With love, the keeper of the room." Tears of gratitude filled Emily's eyes. She realized that the room had given her more than just a story. It had given her the courage to create her own. She left the building with a heart full of hope and a spirit ready to embrace whatever came next. And so, the room continued to exist, a silent guardian of wisdom and wonder, waiting for the next seeker to uncover its secrets and embark on their own extraordinary journey. Emily's life changed in profound ways after her experiences with the room. She began to see the world with new eyes, finding meaning in places and moments she once overlooked. She felt a deep, abiding sense of purpose, driven by the lessons she had learned and the stories she had encountered. One evening, as she reflected on her journey, she felt a familiar pull toward the room. She knew there were more mysteries to uncover, more wisdom to gain. When she arrived, she found the door slightly ajar once again. This time, there was a small, ornate box on the desk beside the book. Inside the box was a delicate silver locket. Emily opened it to find a tiny, intricate keyhole. She remembered the brass key she had found earlier and felt a surge of anticipation. Carefully, she inserted the key into the locket and turned it. The locket clicked open, revealing a folded piece of parchment. Unfolding the parchment, Emily discovered a message. "Dear Emily, the journey you have undertaken has brought you to the threshold of new beginnings. The stories you have read, the experiences you have gathered, and the wisdom you have gained are all part of a greater tapestry. Now, it is time to weave your own story into this fabric. Your heart will guide you. Trust in it, and you will find your way. Yours, the keeper of the room."